My name is Jacob, and my concentration is environmental science and sustainable business.
Hi, my name is Lex, and my concentration is the performance of self.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle. My concentration is creative direction, production, and narrative through the arts, performance, and written word.
Hi, my name is Karina Gomez, and my concentration is in journalism and Latin American studies, with an emphasis in human rights, collective memory, and political violence.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Lee, and I studied the sociology of environmental communication.
Hi, my name is Reed, and I study music business and gender studies.
Hi, my name is Dominique, and I studied care politics with a minor in disability studies.
My name is Elliot Wright, and my concentration is art as a social mechanism.
If you want to see the future of a country, you look at the children of it, and we're effed. Well, come back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy, wild, and insane news to get into today, as of course the situation is not all right, and it's only going to get a lot more weird and complicated from here, as of course it is that time of year where Americans try to avoid the latest psyops as we are being pushed against each other with a larger divide and conquer agenda that is getting crazier than ever. But hey, Mexico has their first ever female president ever. What's the backstory of that? What's really going on here, as well as the future of this presidential election? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. Atlas, as of course, for every new subscriber, Atlas gets a new treat. There you go. Good job. And let's be honest here, my dog is probably smarter than most young people in this country who think of larger esoteric names for Ponzi schemes that they were played a fool in while indebting themselves to hundreds of thousands of dollars in absolutely pointless, meaningless, made-up studies and practices that create an absolutely unfulfilling life for them. In related, totally out-of-touch rich kids that get away with way too much news, we have Joe Biden, who's in a criminal court proceeding himself as today jury selection just began for his trial going off in Delaware, as the president's son is being charged with making false statements during the purchase of a self-defense tool, while also being addicted to very heavy narcotics, as this is the same man that also literally left a self-defense tool outside of a school. He parties, he binges, he hires ladies of the night, and because he was born out of the hole of a very rich person, he has so far never been held accountable or faced actual legal scrutiny for a lot of his depraved illegal activities up until now, as we're going to be keeping a close eye on this trial, as there's a lot of political trials out there, as almost every facet of our life is getting more and more political, especially immigration, as we are also finding out that the Biden administration has just quietly terminated 350,000 asylum cases, as many people expect the Biden administration to offer up mass amnesty, as the migrants have been removed from the legal system and no longer required to check in with authorities or to go through a court proceeding about their legal status, as of course they're not granted or denied asylum. Their cases are just terminated without a decision, as this move allows them to indefinitely roam the United States without fear of deportation, essentially allowing 350,000 people to slip through, quote, the tracks, as the New York Post puts it, highlighting a very significant underhanded move by the Democratic Party that is trying to fortify them being in political power forever, especially with the very latest aggressive immigration policies that they have implemented that clearly, predominantly help out the Democratic Party while screwing over the American people, especially the middle and lower class Americans that have to deal with increased cost of housing and the lowering cost of labor. This, as a major Democratic operative, Maxine Waters, just took to MSNBC to call Trump supporters, quote, domestic terrorists, as she hyperbolically also talked about the preparations for civil conflict between the left and right wing sectors of this country.
I am going to spend some time with the criminal justice system, with the justice system, asking them, tell us what's going on with the domestic terrorists. Are they preparing a civil war against us? Should we be concerned about our safety? What is he doing with this divisive language? It is dangerous, and we're going to have to make sure that we understand that we're not at risk with this man talking in the way that he's doing.
Yeah, alluding to half the country being essentially domestic terrorists highlights a grave, dangerous escalation, even though Maxine Waters tried to phase that like it was a question, as her assertions here are pretty clear, as the Democrats are ever so making very aggressive, dangerous moves against their political opposition party. They're also the ones pointing the finger at them, saying that they're the real threat when the Democrats hold some of the largest institutions in their grips of control. This, as a lot of people are realizing that the Democratic Party is not for them, and they're rallying behind a former president of the United States that now officially is a convicted felon under the legal, lawfare judicial system that, of course, went after him. This says today we're also finding out, according to Donald Trump's own son, that his campaign has actually raised over $200 million in just 3 days since the guilty verdict against Donald J. Trump. The beginning of a lot of money that is pouring in to Donald Trump, as of course, from my estimates, from all the even private donors that I'm seeing and hearing about, it's probably going to be a lot more closer of a $400 million convicted verdict that in many ways is backfiring in the Democrats' face, as Donald Trump was just greeted by a huge crowd of supporters as he returned to Mar-a-Lago just a few hours ago. This as Donald Trump also took to Truth Social to call for the U.S. Supreme Court to review his conviction in New York, saying that the sentencing is 4 days before the Republican National Convention, as he is calling the judge here, quote, highly conflicted, and that the United States Supreme Court, quote, must decide the future of the former president of the United States here, as of course some people, including some online personalities, are cheering on the news that he has been, quote, a convicted felon. Other people are using it as a rallying call, as there's now even an official 2024 presidential/prison collection of silver coins that on one side have Donald Trump as president of the United States, and on the other side, Joe Biden in jail. Another one has Joe Biden as president with Donald Trump in jail on the back of it, highlighting how essentially we are ever so getting close to the season finale of America. As the president of Ukraine is getting involved in the larger debate here, saying that Donald Trump will, quote, be a loser president if he wins the election and tries to impose a peace deal on Ukraine, which highlights that clearly he is the fan favorite here. Clearly, a lot of people expect him to be the next president of the United States. Even the new president of Mexico that was just asked about him directly and how she would get along with him, as she just became the new president of that country in a very interesting way. We're going to be talking about her in just a little bit. This as another weasel now is taking the stand as we speak, as Anthony Fauci is now giving some very interesting duplicitous testimony about some very serious issues that sadly we cannot talk about here on this platform because of the political and scientific censorship that happens here. And because of that, we created our own platform, lukeunfiltered.com, a place where we do really awesome, incredible things, as of course we do nature hikes for you guys. You guys, just by signing up, get to be a part of a secret Telegram group that calls into our show, actually gets to be a part of it, as we're going to be doing another live podcast episode later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern. With that, a special report just for members right after this one about some really cool, interesting things that, of course, we cannot get into anywhere else. You get 3 master classes, an exclusive t-shirt store with at-cost shirts, a forum. You get everything, the full enchilada, the crap list, the seed oil cards, you name it. We got it. all for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. I think we have the most top-notch, one of the most exclusive type of communities out there that, of course, promote healthy, awesome, cool activities like nature hikes all over the United States. There probably soon will be one wherever I go, and I think we're going to do another one here in Florida that might just be a little local hangout, maybe hike, maybe not hike, maybe even go swimming type of activity, since it is the summer down here in beautiful southern Florida. As of course, expect the unexpected, but we're going to be meeting, we're going to be building, we're going to be growing communities. You will be a part of it, all on LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? It's quick, it's easy, it's simple, and I will see you there right after this video. As of course, we are still not done here, as Mexico has a first ever female president, which highlights a one-party rule for the country that should be worrying for a lot of right-wingers, as it looks like leftist democratic policies have pretty much dominated Mexico and look like they will be dominating Mexico for the foreseeable future. As this new presidential election not only highlights the first female president, but a joining of two major political parties, as in Mexico, there's essentially three of them. Two of them decided to team up against the third one, and they decided to elect the first ever female president of Mexico, who has announced that she will have a good relationship with Donald Trump, as she promises to be important on immigration, which is the top issue, as she continues to keep up the same kind of political leadership like we saw under the previous Mexican president, AMLO, as she is, quote, destined to continue his leftist legacy, as she is expected to be a populist leader who probably will be expanding social programs, just like her mentor did, President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, who was a person that was accused of being in the pockets of a lot of the criminal organizations inside of Mexico, as a lot of people are taken to social media and calling her a, quote, radical leftist, a feminist, a socialist, a champion for the LGBTQ community, an individual who is also deemed a, quote, climate change freak, and, quote, allegedly involved in tons of scandals. Now, how did she win this election? Well, as the Wall Street Journal explains, there was a larger deal made here with two major political parties that, of course, aligned themselves against the third one. And now Mexico is a, quote, one-party state, and probably will be so for the foreseeable future, as the leftists have took control of a lot of very popular institutions there that previously were able to limit the power of the socialists, but now have been compromised and no longer will be able to do that. Highlighting a certain leftist-dominated Mexico, which probably will be implementing a lot of the woke policies that the globalists favor and will be pushing on the rest of the world, including the United States, this presidential election, which there's a lot at stake here, as many people believe that what just happened in Mexico could absolutely happen here in the United States, as many people see the Democrats winning here and staying in power forever, especially with their immigration policies that now will be going along with, of course, the favorable immigration policies of Mexico. So yeah, there's that. What do you think is going to be the future of America, and how will immigration policies affect that? Let me know down in the comment section below. I got one more video coming your way on LukeUnfiltered.com, another podcast on this YouTube channel coming at 6 p.m. Eastern. We work very hard here for you, and if you appreciate it, share this broadcast with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever. I wouldn't be here. Atlas wouldn't be here also if it wasn't for you guys participating in this independent media organization. And because you do, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.